want to go late against Spirit. Spirit is really good mid-late game. So you kind of want to try to step on the gas and accelerate the game. I think that should be their primary plan, and heroes like Nature's Prophet will be on top of my head. Like, you want to be able to get towers, get map control, and you want to be able to do more attacking. I think Team Spirit, they are very good at defending, but if you're Liquid, I don't think you want to be on the defending side.
But you can see from the bans, right, of Liquid, they've kind of taken 4 heroes that are very good at kind of counter-engaging to stop you from making these aggressive moves, right? Bane, Earthstrip, Tree, just exceptional heroes at just punishing bad positioning. Slardar as well to the same level. He picks up a Blink, has Shard. You're going to disappear if you're overstepping. I think Liquid is ready to try and be aggressive with their bans already.
And that also means that with the Slardar ban, they are maybe thinking about like Invoker right away. And okay, so Spirit is just going to pick Wyvern, which is, I think, other than Bounty Hunter, this is like a very, very strong support, an upcoming support that kind of got a lot more popularity during the playoffs.
Can they puck on 9 here? Or is that a bit too greedy?
Do you like puck?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like the classics, Liquid, Nisha, but again, it's more of an 18. Sorry. Second pick puck and
Good.
second phase close. Sorry, I forgot the the numbers.
Yeah.
I love numbers. Anyway, Shadow Fiend, sure, that's more of a staple pick.
Yeah, this hero's felt, I don't know, unbeatable. Whenever I watch it, the amount of farm it gets is just unreal, and the amount of damage it does also unreal. I've seen like the Nature's Prophet versus Shadow Fiend match up enough times now where I feel like Spirit could pick that one.
I mean, I don't know about like everyone, but when I play the Wyvern, I kind of always like being on the side against the SF, because Wyvern, the one thing you have, or a couple of things you have against SF is you're very good at gate ganking. You can go across the map and ganking, because SF is the most vulnerable, one of the most vulnerable heroes in the early game. You want to be able to shut him down, and later in the game, the Cold Embrace is great against SF. And SF is very dependent on BKB, and Wyvern has a BKB piercing spell. So I always felt like this matchup is kind of okay, you know, like I like being on the Wyvern side against SF, but as we have seen yesterday and the day before, SF is a very, very strong hero. And back to the pacing part where I said that Liquid, they have to play fast, and this is one of the fastest carry you can play in the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, the counterpoint to all of that is if SF is winning its lane, then the win to Wyvern twin gate rotation won't do as much, because the SF's winning lane will already be taking the fight, already getting the kills, and then he's going to have immense farm. So
the secondary part of this strategy when you have Wyvern is you want to use your second phase bans to remove the bodyguards. And after you remove the bodyguards, you want to try to create a lane, a duo, a very strong duo that gives you kill opportunities against the SF. Like something like, I don't think we'll be able to see the Dawn. I think the Dawn will be banned, because Dawn is one of the, actually no, it's Spirit, so never mind. But I'm just trying to illustrate the example where against SF, you want like a Dawn, you want a hero that can just go on him and kill him in the laning phase.
Could you supplement that with something like Nature's Prophet carry matchup where you can then TP in and...
you can definitely do that. Nature's Prophet is really, really good at that. You TP in, you drop the treants in front of him, you kill him, you take the tower. I think taking the tower is also the second part of the plan. You kill him, but you also must ensure that you have a way to take the tower either with creeps, heroes with summons, or you have heroes with helm. So you can take the tower and remove the jungle, because the camps are the important part. You need to seize control of the camps behind the safe lane tower and in front of the tower, the 4 camps. If you can remove the tower, the SF doesn't get to farm them, then it's good for you.
But you're also describing a whole scenario where it's like you need your mid lane matchup to go well on your side, because if you have to take the tower from the Shadow Fiend, you need to stop him doing his natural Satanic Yatoro level of farm. Of course, Mickey can do it as well. Then you need your mid lane matchup to go well, because they'll TP in, they'll counter gank, they'll stop all this aggression. So again, it's the joy of the setup. Again, they're taking their time actually quite heavily with the ban from Liquid, and then Spirit, they just take away Clock and Tusk, the map moving, roaming supports, which I mean they're the most kind of obvious ones for SF, but you have to kind of ban them out.
There's so many heroes. I think that's what I feel when I look at these bans, because they remove Clock Tusk, and I think those give the most amount of kill potential in lane with SF, but then you still have bodyguards, you still have Undying in the pool. There's also people were using Jakiro as a substitute for a while, which also gives you kill threat in the lane, but there's also still more saves if you want to play more like that. Ringmaster still does a lot of damage in the lane, but can also protect the SF in lane. I think they have so many options. And there's the Invoker you mentioned earlier with the Slardar ban.
Yeah, and Puck ban.
Puck ban, yeah.
Those two heroes have very good matchup against the Invoker. There's still some more, like Void Spirit. Void Spirit is also another hero, which I don't know if you're gonna see it, but it's also another hero that has a very good. Like if you look at the stats, like it's one of those mid heroes that has a very good win rate against Invoker, because Invoker spells can, I don't want to say never, but usually it never lands on the Void Spirit because you can just dodge them.
They have wide hero pools, and it's like, you know, we're just gonna lock in our core straight away. We don't care about like your playbook. It's like, look at our heroes, try and counter us. And Spirit, they do go for the centaur.
I mean, it's not just really about that, you know, because when you talk about the pick sequence, we don't really generally get a chance to discuss a lot about that. But I believe during the second phase team, when you open your draft and then you go into the ban phase, you get to ban a hero in the second phase, and then you exit the ban phase into a pick.
Yeah,
and I think those two sections during the draft, they are very valuable for you. So I always feel like if I can ever use that for picking a core, I would try to do it.
Yeah, there's not many heroes that can actually have one ban into getting the pick, but of course, because of the previous setup, it can work. So I think it's like Liquid and I think LGD, they're the ones that do this more often than other teams if they are able to do it. And in Spirit, they, again, like we already mentioned, they have the Centaur with the Helmet Dominator. That's going to be your progression. Having Stampede and any displacement to kite away from Invoker spell combo is very important. We saw that yesterday with Yandex, when Malady was using Wind Wakers and 4-stars and whatever. And they go for their Pangolier. So they're not trying to flex anything, of course, because they see the Invoker, so they're happy to just
they see both lanes, so they
exactly.
they just pick both the cores here right away, just to make sure that they get the cores that they want to. And I really like the Pangolier here against like the Invoker matchup as well, because you get to kill off the Forge Spirits. Every time when you see Invoker mid, you're always thinking about whether you can have heroes that can kill off that pesky summon. You know, he's gonna send it to deny the rune, but for Pangolier, he doesn't really care about it that much.
I like roll up as well on the shard to just kind of help disengage the combos. I do think when you pick this SF and Invoker, it does mean that you're not able to support them as strongly. Like, I think when we see SF, the drafting that follows feels quite simple. Usually we do see a lot of Centaurs because their teams are aiming to be able to buy the Eggs and keep him protected, but by picking Invoker, you give that Centaur away to Spirit instead. So this hero, whilst it can be good for them, it also acts as a deny pick.
Right now, Liquid, they're gonna have to look for their stuns and bodyguards for the cores. They have one stun here, but they need a setup still. You know, Willow plus Mirana, I guess the other top tier setup heroes are all mostly banned, and Willow is always a great support against all those Spirit mid heroes. And Pangolier, I would say, he's kind of like a Spirit-esque mid hero where you can run around and roam, and you're kind of vulnerable before you get the shot, like you mentioned the shot. Before you get the shot, you're always very vulnerable to getting killed by the Dark Wheeler.
They're going to have just nice map play with Liquid supports. Every time there's going to be an active rune, they're going to press Moonlight Shadow, they're going to go for it. Pango's going to want to go there. You're going to have Willow, you're going to get the kill potentially. If he's dead, then you can break back into the map. So I think Spirit just has to respect the importance of runes against Mirana. It's always something to be mindful. And interesting, they went for the Willow to try and counterplay the Centaur, the kind of the Stampede aspect of the fights, rather than trying to find a support to stop Pangolier during his roll. And there is the Nature's Prophet from Spirit. And Liquid, they have no real body to protect still. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's very dangerous here for Liquid. They have a Mirana. I guess most of the top bodies that you pick in the lane are kind of banned. And you mentioned the Undying, maybe they feel like they just didn't really want to go that route, because that would have actually been like a kind of like a decent body.
I think I like Mirana Willow though, because they both just give so much damage and kill threat to...
Yeah, but the lane, like the focus here is the lane, because the Nature's Prophet is going to be keeping in, and you do not have the best bodyguard in the lane to protect the SF. You know, Mirana, if you're standing next to the SF, stuns the SF, what can you actually do to protect the SF?
And what if Notme plays like techies or something, and then you have like techies jumping in, Prophet coming in, like there's so much like...
Okay, but then potentially they can pick a offlaner that's a little bit more self-sustaining, and then they can use the gate and rotate more to help give early where they don't then feel a threat.
He needs people beside him a lot of the early game. I think if Liquid can actually do that, that would be great. But Team Spirit, right now, they definitely have the advantage in terms of being the aggressor. They have the advantage of being the white pieces here. They are going to attack the SF, and SF is a very vulnerable target. And Invoker is also not the best hero to protect the SF because you need a lot of farm on Invoker. You want to hit creeps, you're just waiting. Oh, I have a Sunstrike kill. Sure, you know, I'm going to drop a Sunstrike, but outside of that, he's not really going to be moving too much.
So we need 2 more heroes here, one for the side of Team Spirit in the hands of Not Me, so the position 4. We already have 1 banned out, waiting for Liquid to ban the other, and we need a hero for Ace on the side of Team Spirit, the offlane, as Hoodwink is the one that gets removed. One of his classics is still in Rubik, but I don't know if
Rubik,
you want to play that here.
SD, both are very good here. The SD with the Centaur very good in the lane, and the SD is very good at saving against the Dark Willow and the Mirana combo. So those are really, really good options. SD is also very nice against SF.
Care about anything. Sure, there's a bit of Shadow Demon interaction into your Eraggs, like how annoying, but you don't need to buy it, you can just go other routes. That aside, like Winter already mentioned, Ace is pretty much just going to put a massive target on his back, and after the laning phase aggression towards Mickey, he is going to try and do as much as possible to then activate the rest of the team. But Liquid, when you look at the team fight, the stuns, how do they actually make these epic late game scenarios? They've got an arrow, a bramble, a terrorize, and whatever Nisha can muster with his concoction of spells, right? So there is not a lot for Liquid to lean on compared to Spirit, where they have Curse and Stomps and Rolls and whatnot.
I don't think Liquid can survive in the early game. I feel this is over their budget. This is too much.
You said laning phase is not that important, Winter.
I mean, it's mostly for the lane. I think it's mostly, the Timber is mostly for the laning phase, and right now they have a tri-core setup which is very, very greedy. They want to get to the late game, but I don't think they're going to be able to get to the late game.
I actually feel differently. I think Liquid, especially if they can play the first like minute, maybe bring like the 2 supports to the lane and like get some early kills and inject that bit of net worth so you get like your first starting stat item. I think their lanes could be more robust than we think. And then in the mid game, I don't know, they have so much more damage. Their ability to rotate on mid is so much stronger. I think they're going to fight for runes in a really nice way. I really like Liquid's lineup.
It's a lot of focus, I feel like, than on the 2 supports on the side of Liquid.
100%. Like, so far, I think this TI is about what supports have got Wind Wakers, how have they used their 4 stuffs, how many times have we spoken about this so far? And in this game with Tofu and Boxy, if your team fight isn't that strong, it's about positioning. I think the support's positioning will be important. Are they there for the runes? Do they have the right items to keep the SF alive, to help Nietzsche clutch up, to give Ace the tempo he needs? So I think Liquid, they have the tools, but it's a very hard game because of
from Team Spirit, they seem to be wanting to focus on a maybe more Team Vision-esque style, where they focus on gaining a lot of net worth. I know it sounds very exciting, which might actually allow Team Spirit to have that space that they really want in the early stages of the game. Of course, it is in a lower bracket, and we're going to have to find out how much pressure we are going to feel when the players are on that stage and playing, because yesterday we definitely had a couple of moments of looking at you, Falcons and Liquid, whereas not all spells were pressed correctly, but of course that is all part of the competition. Let's head into game number 1, but first some words from Coach Maposhka.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are here with Maposhka from Team Spirit. So good to see you again. You have been in this position many times. You have seen the TI meta develop, not your first rodeo. What's it like to be playing so late in TI where all the heroes that are good are kind of known?
30 seconds to battle.
When I was a player, so it's of course a bit different. But no, if you ask about like meta heroes, yes, like do we play meta or no? I mean, of course, we're trying to find like best heroes for every position. So, trying to adapt always. And during this tournament, we also adapt. Like we play with some heroes which we are not not used to play previously, so we
Mirana twice in this tournament. They've lost both games. Hoodwink was right there. And both Foxy and Tofu have shown exceptional play on that hero. So I wonder what gives. Like, what are they seeing in this particular hero for this game? Is it specifically because they wanted Moonlight Shadow? Because as far as I'm concerned, with the games you and I have cast, I've just been super impressed with the level of Hoodwink play and the impact that hero has in seemingly every single game, whereas Mirana's a little bit more hit or miss.
The last series we cast was Liquid, and I said Tofu was the MVP in my book.
It was 8-0 and 22 that
Exactly. It was just an absurd performance. And you're going against Nature's Prophet, too, this game. Through, and they get gone on now. Shadow Realm will juke there on the trees. Creates one just for himself. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Maybe there's a matchup against, I don't know, Wyvern or to that effect, or the Shadow Demon. We don't get the Shadow Demon all too often.
Yeah, it's a really good pick here, though. I think that's one of my favorite picks of the draft. Spirit, I mean, it's not a surprising thing, so to speak. They've run it before. It's just, there's a lot of upsides to that hero in this game. The panel covered it. Good to disrupt the Shadow Demon. It's Shadow Phoenix, excuse me. Good with the Centaur. I think there's some, actually this is a really good game for Demonic Cleanse. We don't get to say that all that often, but I think maybe you buy the Shard this game. Yeah. Invoker, Willow both hate the spells, and you have a constant spell you can put on an ally. It's really good this game. And in addition to what I talked about with the Hoodwink, I also wonder what they're seeing in the Timbersaw here. I understand the laning match with Prophet and Wyvern might be quite good, but I kind of share Winter's sentiment that this might be a little bit too greedy. You're effectively leaving the entirety of the playmaking up to a Willow and an Invoker who you know is going to go Meteor Hammer and jungle for a bit, because that's what they do literally every single game. If there were a game where you would play Quad Wax, this would be the one, and he's still not doing it. So that build is just dead. Like,
apparently.
I can't think of a better game to do it.
Would you say it's harder execution than Liquid? They don't have that, you kind of alluded to it, but they don't have the traditional initiator, right? It's just, you have this Timbersaw who's frontlining, but nobody's really starting the fight necessarily.
That's my biggest issue, is doing that. Yeah, I agree. I think in terms of execution, yeah, at least it's less straightforward. As it is with Dota, though, you can kind of cover almost any weakness of any lineup through items. So as long as you get through the lanes and have a decent mid game, you can, generally speaking, cover for your issues. You can compensate with items, but yeah, that's where the Nature's Prophet for me is going to be the big test for Liquid here. Is you need to survive. If you're not behind at minute 20 or 25, I think this game can be quite stable and really good for you. And obviously, not going to question Nisha's ability to win any game on Invoker. But yeah, you need to be careful you don't get rolled.
Literally, as Laurel is playing the Pangolier with Rolling Thunder, level 5 right now. Bullying Nisha a bit. You can see 25 and 7 for Laurel, or Nisha at 18 and 3. I mean, I'm used to watching Invoker just lose lane.
Yeah.
That's just for any hero he wins it. And again, Laurel, very aggressive.
Boxing him in.
Dire structures are fortified.
Old Snap comes out, just gets some last
Radiant's
hits for
middle tower
Nisha.
is under attack.
PP coming, Swashbuckle's there. That's just a kill for Laurel. Foxy a little bit too late. He's going to get some solo XP, but my goodness. Laurel now level 6 as well, so if there's a rotation coming through, it looks like the Shadow Demon's on the way. If they can kill the Invoker again, that would be just crippling for Liquid in this mid lane.
Yeah, Laurel's going to need some resources, so he sent out a second Clarity. The reason Nisha cold snapped was that he had Bottle and Clarity running and he just wanted to stop him getting more resources, but he still got enough for a last Flush. Yeah, that's the thing. Invoker, pretty vulnerable in this lane, and if you need to start pulling over support to mid, that means no point in Wex yet.
Arrow. If there's going to be any follow-up here, though. At the same time, Ace is also going to be happening. I feel like in terms of melee heroes, that loves solo experience the most. And Laurel taking a little bit of damage from Tofu. Get back under that tier 1. Our first rune, rather, is the illusion.
Timber is definitely going to be completely A-OK up here alone. Even if he gets to play 1v2 against Wyvern Prophet, once he's level 5, should be just able to farm quite stably.
Easy shot.
See of reactive armor.
We've talked a bit about how Liquid are lacking the initiation, but can Spirit deal with the Timber Saw? He's going to hold that thought as Mickey. You can see Yatoro TPing in, and this is the downside of Shadow Fiend. Very, very susceptible to ganks, especially when a Nature's Prophet's in the game.
This was always going to happen, and this is going to be Liquid's big challenge in the next few minutes is how do you put out the fires? Because I have a hard time seeing them getting ahead. So it's so incredibly crucial that the supports have good map reads and are in the right place at the right time, because technically speaking, Spirit, if one support is missing on the map, any of the 3 lanes could be under attack. Prophet can always join. Both of their supports have decent, damage and utility. So, and at the same time, even if they're there, what's the protection? Right? Like, are you going to save the Shadow Fiend there if Mirana's there? I don't think so. Are you going to save her with Willow? I mean, maybe Willow with some good brambles for mid-game, but I still think either support being there would have still been a kill. That's why Boss Wex were a thing. That would have been nice.
Indeed, Laurel taking quite a bit of damage. With the Rolling Thunder going back right on top of Nisha as the supports have come through. The Chef looking to disrupt. Very awkward. Does get the connection and the kill in the end. A little bit sloppy from Spirit. Laurel might pay the price. The Star Storm finishes the job for Tofu. Looking for a double kill. Will get it.
Yeah, that disruption might have actually cost them 2 heroes. Because I think they were getting the kill regardless, but it took longer, and it gave Liquid the time to rotate in, so...
Radiant's top tower is
I want to
under
say a
attack.
rare mistake here, or not me, who has had an, I would argue, an incredibly impressive rookie year at TI so far. It's been a very welcome addition to Spirit.
First game of the day, Cinderin.
Most people didn't even know who he was when he joined the team. Like, that's pretty rare to see somebody join a tier 1 team with, I mean, generally speaking, when you do get scouted, you have some tier 2 and tier 3 experience, but he did have, but
I mean,
probably
I
in
think
the lower...
that's a sign of a good scene if that is going to continue to happen. We want the new blood to come in.
Yeah.
We don't want people like you just sticking around a little bit too long.
Okay.
Escape Gaming comes to mind as Toro.
What is this?
Sorry, it's a little too early for the banter.
That brain doesn't work before noon.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Be careful.
The prize is mine.
Apologies to the viewers in advance here. Scrambles right on top of Yatoro. Ace is level 7. Not me though. Try to turn this around. Rue makes the way over in addition. And Ace load up big time. Getting to take a swashbuckle with another rotation from Laurel. So 4 members of Spirit come over and destroy Ace in turn.
Or not getting any of the last hits on the kills. It's going to mean that he is currently tied
Radiant's top tower is under
with
attack.
for net worth. Grand prize here is not the Timber Saw, it is the tower going down courtesy of the Grant. This is something that Winter was talking about on the panel as well. You're playing into that Shadow when you want to take the tower, and there's multiple ways of doing it. You can have something like
Radiant's middle
summons or a
tower
Dawn
is
Creep.
under
How
attack.
about both? You've got Treants and the Hellbear Smash currently working for them. I think it's just a matter of time before Yatoro's next move will be in that bot lane, and if that's successful, you're losing a second side lane tower for sure. No shot Liquid to prevent that if the move is successful prior.
And Collapse going for, I want to say, the EWC standard build, which is Helm directly into Heart. So he's going
Radiant
to be
are scanning.
very, very farm this game if he's able to get that at a good time.
Lotus.
I would expect him to go for that later. These games, we've seen games go very long. in
Radiant's
this
bottom
tournament.
tower is under attack.
That's why I'm questioning why people are not just playing Heart second. If we know it's going to delay, as long as the game's not out of control, we're playing out very even.
Yeah.
The downside, really.
This ward is continue this later. Again, when you do have that profit, even getting focus out of the way places is a lot easier.
Just fine. Nisha comes over, gets the tornado. Starstorm can go through as well. Not being definitely dead. Laurel getting carefully shadowed by Collapse on the left arm. Does not want to fight. Posing a big fat present. That is
Bottom tower with his Dawn Creep. Happy. I think so far, 11 minutes in, probably rather happy if you're Liquid. The fact that this hasn't been worse than this. Only the 4 kills. Sure, you've lost 2 side lane towers. That was probably going to happen, but all 3 of your cores are at a very competitive net worth. Nisha being the bottom of them is maybe not the best sign, but it's Invoker. He's about to take Meteor Hammer. And, oh, I would say that's his next, but there's another guy. Once
Scanning.
into that.
I think the panel also mentioned that one issue with Invoker this game is there's no real good Sunstrike setup, right? Farm in the early stages of the game.
I'm surprised they gave the stacks to Timber, actually. I don't know if that's the right choice in this game. I think he was slated to just have a free farm time up top for quite a while regardless. It is. He loves creeps.
Who is Ace if he does not take all the farming jungle as
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
always playing these thick boys? Although no exception to that. Presence. This tier 1 mid, Nisha. The opening. Slow to start, but not going to commit to anything. Low actually. Rolling here pretty soon. They're going to try to get the contract. The Destruction's going to dodge basically everything. Carl doesn't have mana right now to use the Rolling Thunder, but Nisha extremely low. Shadow Realm available. For some damage
really
onto
good
Laurel.
tornado timing.
Are
If he
fortified.
hits that swashbuckle, Nisha
Radiant's
is
middle
dead.
tower is under attack.
On him mid-swash.
Not fully committing his spirit, kind of just
Now though.
playing the tower, and yeah, it doesn't mention.
Radiant's middle
Makes
tower.
the rotation over, gets the raise, arrow coming, not gonna hit. Sunstrike gonna be dodged. Laurel, just fine. That's the diffusal blade now, gonna go for the shard blink tag.
I was gonna say, surely Rue is gonna heal him. He's just holding on to Cold Embrace the entire time, and then he heals himself. Look out for your boy, man. Laurel was low.
That extra piece of toast at breakfast.
Yeah, personal vendetta. I'm sure they ran out.
That would be something.
You ever been
There
to a
was
breakfast where they ran out of toast? I don't think I've ever experienced it.
Yeah, but remember they were at a hotel where they ran out of toilet paper, right?
Oh.
That was Spirit. That was the year they won TI.
Yeah,
You need a little adversity to be able to get over the hump.
that must be the secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't think I ever ran out of toilet paper in my TI appearances, so you must be right. The stats don't lie.
100% win rate. What we can figure out here. Same time here, Cinderin. Nice segue onto Coaster playing Marana.
Yeah. Speaking of toilet paper, Tofu is 0 and 2 on Marana.
I'm just thinking of the food tofu. You know? Just,
Oh. Alright, smoke from Spirit. Yeah, nice
On
connection.
turn.
And he is
Played.
already dead.
absolutely. Very quick kill. TG is not even remotely close. Another great pickoff for Spirit. Getting a little bit of separation now. That works.
Dyer's
Toro
top tower is
leading
under
the way
attack.
as he's seen on the Nature's Prophet. In terms of basics, I still think that Liquid are happy. Obviously, the Invoker's a bit of a anomaly.
He is having a rough one on YouTube. I mean, it's definitely significantly worse than it was a few minutes ago. This time they lost the mid tower plus. Well, again, now up to 3 deaths. It's just like looking at the big picture of how bad I was envisioning this could go. This is in like the better half at least of potential outcomes. I think there's almost, if these two teams play this draft 10 times, I feel like Spirit win the early game 9 out of 10. And in maybe 3 or 4 of them, they're up 5k down. So, you know, it could be way worse for Liquid because of how little they've bled relatively. But this is, it's not going to get immediately easier now. Now you've lost your front row of defense on the towers. Spirit are placing really good offensive boards. They have one around the enemy secret shop. They have one around the water plays down bottom, and actually one around the double coverage there with the river. So they are going to see Liquid movement, and are going to want to counter them. I mean, Stampede, Prophet Teleportation, and obviously Pango being the beast right now. Yeah, the worst is yet to come. If Liquid can keep this at a 1k for 10 minutes, that's when the items are going to change. They need to weather the storm.
Squash that half health.
Yep. Always a fun hero to play support against Pango. Half your spells don't work.
Unless you're Bane.
And yeah, well, there's a few who like it.
I think they're going to go through the gate.
Yeah, big gate.
SF is the target.
They might have seen him go right before their ward expired. I think they definitely did.
Okay, he is running in the
Radiant
correct
are
direction.
scanning.
They don't scan it out. They missed on the scan at least, but continue on.
I think this hero farms camps really fast so you can get out in
Does,
time.
but they're going to see that these creeps recently perished. To the north now. So close, and now he's within safety of the tier 2 tower. Not me. His smoke breaks, so now the Tofu spotted here. The Rolling Thunder from Laurel. Not even trying to connect that. So rough. He's dead. The Shadow Demon. The Liquid. Very fortunate.
That is just such.
It's like a half-second difference in getting the SF and not.
It's such a good read from Mickey to not go to the mud golems on the left as part of his farming rotation, but realizing, okay, they've been missing for just long enough that this is a real. There's a very high probability that I am getting ganked, so it goes north to the other camp to protect the team.
Dyer are scanning.
Very nasty situation.
Radiant's middle
Laurel
tower is
has
under
damage.
attack.
Pick that up. Tornado. For the vision. Bramble's right on top. He has his shard apparently. He's off the shield crash as well, but he still blows up regardless. Very nicely done from Liquid, obviously knowing that the Rolling Thunder was down. Just roll up.
Space to Nisha, who desperately needs it. Finding some recovery.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Now, Blink Dagger picked up
Dyer's
through.
structures are
fast.
fortified.
Decent timing. At 19 minutes. This is a rather difficult Wyvern game, I would say. You have one hero you want to first next to Shadow Flame. the only one who can really kill anyone. The heroes.
Trouble. Bedlam doing a good amount of damage. Disruption into the Sunstrike as Ace comes in to finish the job. Moves back to the Galactic there. Ace now takes the brunt of the damage from Spirit. Drained of his mana. Killed off. A great turn of events for Spirit. Losing a support for the off-road Mary. And yeah, looks to be next on the list. Toro with a double kill on the Nature's Prophet.
All day.
Oh yeah.
Dire's middle
Oh,
tower
as I was saying,
is
yeah,
under
for
attack.
Wyvern, the challenge in this game is that Cold Embrace is just really bad, right? Timbersaw is one of the nightmare matchups for that. All of his damage is pure. Invoker is a nightmare matchup. All of his damage is magic. Willow, Mirana. Shadow Fiend as a carry is even mixed because he can go for the raises. So Cold Embrace will just be exceptionally difficult to use, and the curse is hard because Liquid's lineup inherently doesn't really stack on top of each other. It's 4 range plus a Timber jumping around. The Rue, I think he's more potentially for the game where Blink is not rather than like Glimmer Force. I find myself almost always loving the dagger because it'll be very impressive if he finds high impact plays with anything except maybe one. So your eyes on that. Tormentor, so Spirit. Race upgrade. I run with that monologue.
Right. I mean, do you think the damage aspect of this is it just icing? How often is it useful? Like, you have to. It feels like it's. Usually, you're not going to get anything out of it when you're using Cold Embrace to save. Well, especially with so much magic and pure damage on Liquid side.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you get Cold Embrace,
Radiant
you
are
reset
scanning.
after, right? It's to buy time in order
Radiant's
to
middle tower is under
get
attack.
out and then maybe go back to the yeah. So yeah, I think it's situationally good.
Hold that spot. Ace in a bit of trouble. Moonlight Shadow on him. They have the vision and they have the kill. Toro there in numbers.
Yeah, that number's 1.
Plus his 3 teammates.
Okay. So Spirit.
Yeah.
Yep, got it. Okay.
I mean, Yatoro is such a huge
Radiant's
personality.
top tower
He can
is
be
under
there in
attack.
numbers.
He has a split personality.
Dire's middle tower is under
We've got
attack.
good and bad Yatoro showing up to this game.
No, that's not true. He's different hair. That's his personality. He's all natural. We have
Radiant's top tower
by
is under
Spirit.
attack.
Oh,
Collapse. Big damage.
spotted. Right click from
Dead.
Nick. My goodness, the alacrity just going ham. And just like that, Spirit has to abandon the Roshan map.
This is really awkward. 47 from Centaur. That Roshi being started, they could actually go for it
Dire's
themselves.
bottom tower is under attack.
Instead, though, on the prowl for Laurel. Nice sidestep. Not gonna get hit by that tornado.
Collapse gets a soul ring. Is that literally just PMP?
I think that's a very big part of it, if not the entire reason, yeah.
I can't relax. I've seen that on
Yeah.
Centaur.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of strength offlaners that you wouldn't necessarily think would buy it, but it's just there's so much farming in Dota that value. But Centaur specifically doesn't need mana to farm, so it has to be an EMP. How much mana does the EMP drain with that?
Do the math.
How do you even see that perspective? Invoker's a little bit special. You can't just ask to see the spell.
You want to check it real quick?
No. Double check. I don't. So Centaur's current mana pool is at 765.
I mean, that's the issue with mana pool in general.
If he gets EMP'd, he can't use Stampede and Stomp without the soul.
Radiant's bottom tower
Probably
is
drains
under
around
attack.
400.
Might get
Dire
to 500 when he's back.
Got his shard now, so the farm by walking.
Very nice.
Favorite.
Congratulations. Nice shot on Invoker. Your RTC would say if you were here.
Daedalus now online for Yatoro, so still keeping up that net worth, has a 3K separation between him and Mickey. I mean, for a nation of Prophecy, how much do you want to be up versus
Dire are
I
scanning.
guess that's
I think this is kind of par for the course. Maybe this is slightly better than expectation. Well, if you ignore the surrounding factors, let's say both heroes get to have a great time, which which they often do because they're safe laners. Good for you. Yeah, this is probably roughly expected in this patch, what we've seen from other teams in the tournament. Obviously, we're going to be comparing them to the elite level, so let's compare the potential of Shadow Fiend as well as Nature's Prophet. How well has Satanic done? Then I think this is probably maybe a little under for SF and on par for Prophet. Kind of checks out with how the game has gone, right? Prophet,
That's a good burn. Very nice burn. Mirana as a result. Rolling Thunder able to get saved by the cold embrace at the last moment, though. Still inside that Rolling Thunder. Ace of the BKB. Mickey looking for the rush. He gets it off. They're trying to TP out. Making the right click damage. He's barely going to survive. Mickey with a 10% HP. Able to get back in time. They're going to lose 3 overall, though, so the fight still goes the way of Spirit. Now they are in a decent amount of control, which means Roche should be on the table.
But it's Hipru. That was perfect. Finds a 3-man first onto Mirana with Shadow being one of the attackers, and Cold Embrace on the Pango was in absolute peril against Shadow there. Embrace lost the entire BTB with his Cold Embrace. Spells that were not inherently obviously going to get perfect performance for both. And now their grand prize will probably be Roche, I would imagine.
Practical HP, but Liquid's not remotely close to this right now. And I can assume that Yatoro is going to play himself. Getting close to finishing his Aghanim Scepter, about 3 minutes away. Or doesn't need take it. We saw the BKB for Nisha, and it's going to be an Octarine core next. For Ace, Shivas, so we're going to see a lot of larger spells coming out of these cores pretty soon. And Nikkei, of course, like I say, of course, goes for, I mean, is this, would you call this a hybrid build right now?
I feel like it's always a hybrid build if you have Yashikaya, right? Like if you want to commit fully in the right direction, this is a skippable item. So, it's hybrid, but it definitely is hybrid if you go Blink. Then you're not even playing it the right fully after the Yashikaya.
I think they'll have enough physical damage? Carl, right on top of Tofu again. Bunzo. Yeah, the map is in control of Spirit now. 8K lead.
Down against Nature's Prophet in Dota history is so bad. Like, oh yeah, okay. Well, if we want to remember the worst part of every hero, then that one was definitely Prophet.
Dire are scanning.
I would have through, but I think this might be the other way around. Has to use the BKB because Yatoro is going to fall as well. It's up the Timber Chain to the low ground and attempting the TP, but the first cancels it out because the high ground is Lacquery. That's a 2-shot through, but he survives. Laurel does take out Ace in the end. Now Mickey on the run. Deafening Blast to hold Yatoro at bay. Remember, he does have the Aegis. First round, off the pop. The Cold Embrace, and he does get taken out, so that's life number 1, but Mickey taking a ton of damage from Laurel. Now he has backups of his teammates. The swashbuckle in the end for Laurel gives him enough space to get away. Laurel going in really deep to kill off the SF. Some balls on that young man. 2 cores dead for Liquid, was definitely not expecting that.
Classic Giga Chat TP in 1v3 under the enemy tower to kill the Kara and just walk it off.
Insane.
I mean, he kept track of the abilities. There was nothing left. There's nothing countering your BKB in this game. If you just BKB TP on Prophet, you know Shadow Fiend doesn't have reason to fight you back. There's no BKB piercing stun. There's no inherent save for the guy you're going on. So, yeah, why not just dive them?
Split these waves. Actually will not take it. Goes the way of Spirit. No longer with the Aegis, though. You see the Hydra's breath on the Toro as well now.
I can't believe Nature's Prophet gets to the 8th pick of the draft. It's actually just mind-blowing.
We've been talking about this hero the entire tournament.
It's so good, and it's against Mickey, who's also incredibly skilled at this hero. They rated Shadow Fiend higher. I don't mind that. If you think it's better, I think they're like on par. But then the fact that they didn't ban this going into the second phase, you've seen Yatoro, you've seen Satanic, you know Mickey himself, how good this hero is. I don't know. I don't think you let this hero through in the second phase to any of the
Radiant's courier
specialist
has been
teams.
killed.
It's just too good for me. Or
That's what it
showcasing
says.
it here. 525 CS at 30 minutes.
How does that compare to Satanic, would you say? Out to him.
Maybe a Toro
getting
watching
towards
some
there.
replays. Must be weird being the guy everybody learns from for like 3 years, and now maybe there's somebody.
Dyer's bottom tower is under
Satanic,
attack.
at around this stage of the game, had about 900 something people.
I thought you were gonna say
Dyer's
CS, and I was like,
bottom tower has been
sure,
denied.
buddy.
Maybe if there was a
That's for the
playing
next
against-
patch. Shannon.
playing
That's
against Nigma and who else?
Brood Mother.
Mother.
I have intel. The next patch, the map will be even bigger. We'll have 4 lanes.
Dire
And,
are scanning.
Yeah, Prophet Teleport starts without a cooldown at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's nice.
And maybe 900 CS will be obtainable. Right?
Yeah, that's
And
the
that's
only
the
one.
one I would suggest not buying, so it checks out. You could have not bought the Prophet one, I guess, but
Hey, he's got enough.
this is never an issue for
I
Prophet.
mean, you talked about how it might be more valuable to get the gold anyway.
Yeah, the Prophet is,
He's farming so well anyway.
yeah, you're effectively giving gold to your teammates by buying your cards.
But as that 25 talent, actually thinks to remove teleportation.
Oh.
Seeing the other one, Arrow will dodge.
Very close.
Fighting, Root taking a huge burst damage. hopefully now pesky Spirit players out of their base. So far, success dying. Is dropping quite low. 4 health, all right. Will survive. Foxy very deep in the midst of this. Bruce attempting to get away. Looks like Yatoro will be just fine, but Laurel not so much. Bramble after Bramble. Out of mana now. Gets off the blink at the last moment. He's actually going to get
decision, right? Another great curse from Rue here is just going to kill the Mirana, and they
He
want to
disrupts
follow
here.
up.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Damage that these Mega Cubes take, not much. Zoro leading the way, going to tier 4. Zoro opens it up with the Rolling Thunder, finding a couple connections. They not using the BKB, blinks out instead. Meteor coming down, he's getting pretty low, looking for the cart connection, getting it disrupted, set the arrow's going to keep the Centaur in place. Zoro wants the Spirit. Super chain onto Laura. Dodge the tornado, gets the bash off the shield crash on the Mickey. Attempting to get a good attempt, but it's not going to be enough as he will fall to the ground, and Spirit surely will be able to take game number 1, and they do. GG's are called. Entertaining game again with these two teams. It feels like every time we watch these teams, they certainly deliver in the entertainment factor.
Absolutely. And if you're a stats enjoyer out there, just to give you the conclusion, Yatoro ends the game with 1,121.
Oh.